You've seen those two glowing blue meters before. Maybe in a movie, maybe in a friend's living room, ticking back and forth on a black glass amplifier with an old-fashioned Gothic logo. That's a McIntosh. At first glance, it looks like the kind of thing a small American workshop has quietly hand-built forever, untouched by the outside world. But the company behind those blue meters has been sold 6 times in about 35 years. And in November 2024, it landed in the hands of Bose, the one brand serious audiophiles love to make fun of. The amp that powered Woodstock is now owned by the maker of the Quiet Comfort earbuds. So how did that happen? And what does it mean for the factory still running in Binghamton, New York? The story starts in 1949. An engineer named Frank McIntosh and his partner Gordon Gow built their first amplifier in Silver Spring, Maryland. Their idea was a circuit called unity coupled, which let an amplifier play loud with very little distortion. Distortion being the harsh, fuzzy sound you get when an amp is pushed too hard. It worked, and orders came in. In 1951, they moved the company to Binghamton, New York. And in 1956, they finished a factory at 2 Chambers Street. They never left. That same brick building still makes amplifiers today, nearly 70 years later. Inside, the work is mostly done by hand. Employees wind the heavy copper transformers themselves on site instead of buying them in. The glass front panels are printed and inspected one at a time. And those blue meters, added around 1974, weren't just decoration. Blue light reads clearly in a dark room, so you can watch the power level climb from across the couch. By 2021, around 150 people worked in that factory, and the company was reportedly hiring more. By the 1960s, McIntosh had a reputation as the amplifier that simply did not quit. That reputation pulled it out of the living room and onto the biggest stages in America. In August 1969, a sound engineer named Bill Hanley was hired to run audio for a festival in upstate New York called Woodstock. Roughly 400,000 people showed up, far more than anyone planned for. Hanley needed amplifiers that could run for 3 days without overheating, so he used about 20 McIntosh MC3500 amps hidden under the stage. Each one put out 350 watts. He later said it was the most reliable amplifier on the market. Everybody else's hummed. Then came the Grateful Dead. In 1974, the band built a sound system nicknamed the Wall of Sound. More than 600 speakers stacked into one towering wall, powered by 48 McIntosh MC2300 amplifiers. It weighed around 75 tons and took a crew of dozens to assemble. Demand was so urgent that one engineer reportedly flew to Binghamton with $6,000 in cash to buy amps straight off the factory floor. Decades later, in 2021, Jerry Garcia's personal McIntosh amp sold at auction for $378,000, against an estimate of about $7,000. This is where the story turns. Starting in 1990, McIntosh stopped being independent. It was sold to Clarion, a Japanese car audio company, reportedly for about $28 million, then to a holding group called D&M in 2003. Then to Bain Capital in 2008, then to an Italian audio group in 2012, then a management buyout in 2014, then a Texas private equity firm in 2022. That's 6 owners in about 35 years. Through every single sale, one thing held. The amplifiers were still built in that same Binghamton factory by people winding the same kind of transformers by hand. Then in November 2024, the buyer was Bose. And if you know audio culture, you know why that landed strangely. Bose, founded in 1964 by MIT professor Amar Bose, is the company behind Quiet Comfort headphones and small speakers in millions of homes. Among serious listeners, it carries an old joke. No highs, no lows, must be Bose. The brand that powered Woodstock was now owned by the brand audiophiles mock the most. In 2011, Amar Bose gave most of his company's shares to MIT, the university where he taught for decades. So technically, MIT now sits at the very top of the company that owns the Woodstock amplifier. The deal price was never made public. Bose said McIntosh would stay in Binghamton and the workforce wouldn't change. But within months, the picture shifted. The independent sales reps were let go in early 2025. McIntosh disappeared from Best Buy's Magnolia showrooms that spring, and in 2025, the company's president of 40 years, Charlie Randall, announced he was stepping down, almost exactly 1 year after the sale closed. A Bose executive took over the brand. I went in expecting a story about a famous company being ruined overnight. The truth is quieter and a little odder. Nobody has moved the factory. Nobody has changed the amplifiers themselves. Bose even said publicly that McIntosh would stay in Binghamton and that the workforce wouldn't change. What changed first wasn't the product on the assembly line. It was the people who sold it and the people who ran it. So those blue meters glowing in someone's living room aren't the work of a small American shop, and they don't belong to a Japanese giant either. For now, they belong to Bose, with MIT quietly behind it all. The Binghamton factory is still running, still hand-winding transformers, at least for today. Thanks for watching. If there's a brand or an object you've quietly wondered about, drop it in the comments, share this with someone who'd find it as strange as I did, and subscribe. See you in the next one.